Hi, I'm Mandi Pryor and welcome to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Spotlight on Pittsburgh is a program about Pittsburgh's most fascinating people and what they do to make our city an amazing place to live and work. When we come back, I'll introduce you to Sven Lynch, owner of Pittsburgh Concierge Therapy, who will bring you top-notch care right to your front door. Later on, we'll bring you Kerry Clifford, spokesperson and corporate dietitian for Thyme Markets.
Our family was drifting apart until we found a connection.
You have the power to change your child's life. The Boys Town National Hotline can help.
Hi, and welcome back to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Sven, so nice to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Mandi. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. So, what can you tell me about Pittsburgh Concierge Therapy?
So Pittsburgh Concierge Therapy is a very unique physical therapy practice. It's unlike any physical therapy practice that you would go to down the street because I come to you, whether that's at your home. That's the most common place where I see people. But I see people in all kinds of different creative locations, which makes it a really incredible experience. So, for instance, I've worked with a child at a playground before, just working on playground skills. I've worked with a soccer athlete when they were ready on a soccer field. I have worked with a CrossFit athlete in their CrossFit gyms. So it gives me a lot of flexibility to meet people wherever they want to give them the right kind of care.
And so what kind of care are you offering?
So I'm a physical therapist, so what that means is I will evaluate someone and look to see where they're having problems with generally movement, but it could often be from some sort of injury or illness. And I just try to figure out what they want to try to get back to doing, and I try to help them get to that point.
And so, is it something that's recommended through your doctor, or is it something that some people just know they need on their own? How are you getting people to your door?
It can work both ways. So people can get a referral from their physician after they've had some sort of injury for physical therapy, and then they could give me a call. Or if someone feels like they just aren't able to do the things that they want to do and they know about my services, they can call me directly and I can work with them for 30 days in the state of Pennsylvania before I have a physician's prescription. But I'll often do all the legwork to get that prescription, and then we can just keep on going.
And so what is your background? What got you into being in physical therapy?
So I was in the Navy for 8 years after college, and I had an undergraduate degree in biology. But it got to the point where I realized I wanted to get out of the Navy just to be able to be around my family and raise my kids. So I started really thinking about what I wanted to do, and physical therapy was just a good fit because it would allow me to continue to serve people, but on a much more personal one-to-one level.
And so you see all different age groups. Is there any specialty that you go after, or?
I do. So I am board certified as a neurologic clinical specialist. And what that means is...
Yes, what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means that I had a lot of experience working with people that have had some sort of neurological trauma or a neurological illness. And then after that point in time, and after a lot of studying, I sat for a very rigorous board examination. It was 6 hours long, and fortunately I passed. So it just means that I have this special qualification that allows me to work really well with individuals who have had things like a stroke or traumatic brain injury, concussions, spinal cord injury, things like that.
And before you kind of set out on your own, were you a part of bigger groups? What's your work experience on?
Sure. So I've worked at
No,
that's fine. I've worked at a lot of the big names in Pittsburgh, mostly at the Children's Institute. I've also worked for UPMC for a short time, but all of that training really allowed me to gain a lot of skills. I love working with kids and still do in my practice, but it has allowed me to work with a wide variety of, like you said, throughout the age range and people with all kinds of different things going on.
And so, what's the best way for somebody to find out if you're a right fit for them?
That's a really good question. What I offer is a free consultation. So if people are hearing about my services, but they're not sure if it's a good fit, I will go to them and sit with them and talk to them for 30 minutes, no charge, no harm, no foul if they decide not to work with me, but just hear what's going on with them. And then I'll tell them what I think, and if I think we're a good fit for each other, and what direction I would want to go in during an evaluation, and maybe some different treatment options that we could explore.
And so, what can you suggest if a patient is, has suffered from a neurological problem? What can they do to improve their lives on their own, as well as seeking, improvement through your services?
Sure. I think the most important thing for anybody, whether it's a neurological injury, whatever, is just find what you like to do. Try to do it, and if you're having problems with it, seek some help. But really, it's just about trying to still move, and whatever that means for the individual. And for some people, I work with some people just on the act of trying to stand up from a chair. And so that can be something on one end of the spectrum, whereas I can be working with people to get back to doing high-level athletics and everything in between. I work with a lot of people in the 40 to 50-year-old range too, for people that have been active their whole lives, but then have had some sort of injury, and now they can't be as physically active as they want to be. And that can have a huge cascade on their health in the years to come if they never get back to that same level of activity. So I try to help them get back to that.
And what is a moment you were most proud of since you've been or started the concierge therapy program?
I've always thought of my role from back in the days when I was working at the Children's Institute, that one of my biggest roles is to help people walk, either whether it's for the first time or again after an injury, and just being able to have patients both in my practice now where I've helped people walk again. It's just amazing.
That must be an incredible feeling.
So rewarding.
And so if you've had all these people who you've helped, and where do you see the practice in 5 years?
That's a good question. I've started to play around with the idea, would I ever have another physical therapist helping me, or maybe therapists of other disciplines, whether it's an occupational therapist or speech therapist. So those are maybe some long-range plans. But right now I'm just enjoying helping people on a one-to-one basis and in their space. And the thing that I love about it too, that differentiates the practice from other physical therapy clinics, is when you go to another physical therapy clinic, the physical therapists are so busy. They might see 20 patients in a day or more. Sure. So they have to divide their time, just like physicians nowadays, where you only get
10 minutes.
10 minutes, 15 minutes with a doctor or a physical therapist, sometimes if you're lucky. But I get to spend a full 60 minutes every treatment session. And for my evaluations, I spend 2 hours, generally speaking, with patients. And that gives me so much more time to listen to what's going on and observe the way that they move. And that has the impact of changing the way that I would approach their care. And it reduces the number of times that I have to see them many times.
And so going back, you're doing something by going to their homes that was very widely popular a long time ago. Yep. And then now everybody goes to hospitals and they go to clinics. What made you decide that the going to homes was the right thing for you?
Healthcare has become so complicated. And when I was thinking about starting my own practice, I wanted to be as simple as possible. And I thought, what is the most simple way to deliver care? And you're right, it's getting back to that old-fashioned house call and going to someone, treating them in their space, which is very personal. I mean, so many different businesses advertise, we put a personal, this is so personal.
Comforting too.
It is incredibly comforting. You wouldn't believe the number of people that I meet that would never step foot into a doctor's office, are turned off by hospitals, but they need care and they seek care, and they're really happy with the services that I can provide in their space.
And so, is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you would like to elaborate on about your services, your care, you, yourself?
What I really like about my practice is that it affords me flexibility. It can help me do things that I was never able to do within the walls of a clinic. I've been able to go with patients and accompany them to a doctor's appointment or to an appointment where they're getting a brace fitted, so that I can collaborate with those other medical professionals on the spot to make sure that we're coming up with the best plan possible.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds great. And I sincerely hope that everybody out there is listening and looks up your practice and at least tries out a free consultation.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Sven. To find out more about Pittsburgh Concierge Therapy, please go to pghconciergetherapy.com.
Sometimes it's hard to see where you're going, but you have the power to change your problems. All it takes is courage. YourLifeYourVoice.org.
Hi, and welcome back. Carrie, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
You're not even from here.
No.
Which makes it even better. But what is here now is Fresh Thyme. So I guess we're going to have to start out by asking, what is Fresh Thyme?
Yeah, so we're a grocery store. We like to think of ourselves as the spirit of a weekend farmer's market with the convenience of your neighborhood grocery store. We opened our first store about 4 years ago in Illinois, which is where we're headquartered, and we're up to 70 stores in 11 states.
Wow, so you have rapidly expanded.
Yes.
And you just recently, today, right?
Yep.
Today is the opening for 2 new locations in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about those locations?
Yeah, so one in Bridgeville and one in Pleasant Hills. And yep, 5 o'clock this morning, I was at the store and we opened up our doors. I think we had about 400 people in line at the Bridgeville location. It was packed. So really, we're running great sales for 12 weeks. And it's the best day to shop on Wednesdays. Those ads overlap and all kinds of good deals for produce, of course, meats and seafood. We have like 400 bulk bins with nuts and seeds, a food service bar with a pizza station and sandwiches, a grocery department with tons of different types of milks, and then also vitamins and body care. So really optimizing that healthy lifestyle.
That sounds fantastic. And so what makes you different? What makes you're a new grocery store that people aren't as familiar with? So what sets you apart from the competition?
Yeah, so the grocery world is competitive. I know they're popping up all over the place. But really, Fresh Thyme prides ourselves on bringing freshness for everyone at affordable prices. So you shouldn't have to give up your whole paycheck to eat healthy and buy fresh things that are from local and in season. So really also what differentiates us is how bright our store is. So 60% of our store is produce and fresh food. So really it's a bright, light environment, and we make the aisles close so that you feel comfortable shopping and easy to reach things. And then also what's great is we have a smaller footprint, so about 28,000 square feet in our stores, so not like your 100,000 square foot big box grocery store.
Sure.
So not a lot of choices. When someone's looking for pasta sauce, they don't need to have 10 choices. Maybe only 3 or 5 choices can help you, narrow down the time you spend in there.
Narrow down the ones you like. And
Exactly.
so you offer, general foods as well as organics.
Definitely.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we are trying to meet anyone on their health journey. So whether you're someone that eats fast food all the time and you're not even eating a fruit or vegetable, or someone who's living a completely, healthy lifestyle, whether that's gluten-free or heart healthy or paleo, we have all types of different items for people on different diets. So we do have a large amount of organic items, a few thousand, and especially produce, but then of course dairy, meats, breads, grocery items, supplements. So really we meet everyone's needs.
That's wonderful, especially how things are today. I don't know if it's more allergies or allergies are just very apparent that a lot of people are suffering from different foods and different things to eat.
Yeah.
So it's great you're offering all of that. And is there anything else that makes you different than the other stores in the area?
Yeah, I would say our team members are just friendly and excited to be there. And I would say that we are constantly offering unique and fun items. So if you stop in our stores, you might find something you've never seen elsewhere. An example is, coconut aminos. These are things that are like soy sauce, but made from coconut, so people who don't eat soy can eat it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so really just unique items, I would say, is one of our biggest claims to fame. I get to go to a conference every year that's thousands of new food items. I know there was just crickets that were out there, so in granola bars. So really cool items that we're really trying to bring to the Midwest and to Pennsylvania.
And, Pittsburgh's its own city. So what is Fresh Thyme going to be offering Pittsburgh that, feels like home to them?
Yeah, so we really do try to work with local, farmers and local food manufacturers. So some really cool things. Fresh Thyme, we have our own private label line, about 1,500 items that are our own brand that are actually made by other manufacturers. So our waffles, actually, if you go to our store in our frozen cooler, are actually made in Pennsylvania. We have several different flavors, chocolate chip, gluten-free. We have tons of different, mustards and barbecue sauces for local items. And then we have, about 15, maybe 20 local beers and wines that you can get as well.
Wonderful. Well, you've brought some of your specialty items here. So I wanted you to get the opportunity to talk a little bit about what you brought and, let our audience know a little bit more.
So being a dietitian for Fresh Thyme in Chicago, my role actually is to kind of help educate and communicate nutrition messages across all our stores. And so 3 kind of tips for summer, what I brought today. One of the first things is fruits should be your fast foods. So, a bag of peaches or, the fruit fries. Actually, people in Pennsylvania, or probably Pennsylvanians, are only eating 1.5 servings of vegetables a day and 1 serving of fruit a day. So we're supposed to be eating 5.
That's a big
yeah,
jump.
We're missing the vitamins and minerals, and then we're filling it in with, less healthy things. So really making it fun for kids and getting them involved in the summer and making them easy to eat in those little cones. You can put fruit in there.
Well, I have a 2.5-year-old, and I know that the only way he gobbles down broccoli, because the first time he ever saw it, I said, look, it's broccoli trees, like the dinosaurs eat. And then ever since, he's like, oh, broccoli, it's amazing. So, I think it does start young, and you have to think of creative ways to maybe sneak it past their radars, because they do have big radars on them. So.
And especially a good mom like yourself, starting the habits young and showing them the good habits is a great place too.
Absolutely, and it gets harder too.
Oh yeah. And then the next one is hydration. So we should be drinking 8 to 10 cups of water a day, and most people are not getting there, and they're filling them with soda.
Well, I don't do that, but mine's coffee.
It's tough to get there. So a really great way to kind of swap out the soda and swap in water, no calories, is really picking up either the infused waters at Fresh Thyme or making your own. Here we have blueberry rosemary. I know you said you love blueberries.
I do love blueberries.
You can eat them afterwards, or even doing the sparkling waters in the can. There's no artificial colors, no sugar. It's just bubbly flavored water.
That's great. I mean, there's even, if you don't mind me picking this up, there's actually rosemary inside of here. It's a blueberry rosemary. Don't say that 3 times fast. That looks incredible. I haven't had a chance to sample it, but I'm hoping to very soon. So go ahead, and you brought a salad. You have some different mixed nuts and.
So superfoods. So I always like to superfood anything you're eating, whether that's snacks in the summer or a salad you're bringing to a party. I promise the good food, the healthy food, will go quicker than you think. And really adding nuts and seeds over the top of the salad adds healthy proteins and healthy fats. So you can pick those up. We have 400 bulk bins of nuts and seeds and grains and chocolates. So you can throw them on anything.
Chocolate is healthy in moderation.
Yes, dark chocolate for sure. Yeah.
Good. Well, everything looks amazing. I love clean eating and all of that stuff. So this is right up my alley. Is there anything else that I haven't touched on that you'd like to share about Fresh Thyme?
Yeah, so the one other piece of my job that I really enjoy is we have a free magazine in our stores called Crave, and it's 45 pages of colorful recipes made just for Fresh Thyme customers, and lots of health recipes and tips that I get to write. So pick that up. It's free when you enter the store, and the fruit fry recipe is in there.
Oh, even better, because it's not just fruit.
Right, there's some seasonings on there.
Oh, well, we have to pick it up then. Well, thank you so much. I'll bring you back out here in a minute when we have Sven on the show for a little trivia challenge. Thank you, Kerry. Don't forget the new Fresh Thyme Collier Township location and their Pleasant Hills location opens today. Go to freshthyme.com for more info. We'll be right back with a short trivia challenge for both of our guests.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented, mostly by making changes in your diet, controlling your weight, and of course, by not smoking. Visit prevent50.org and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, and more.
All right, so as many of my my viewers know, I like to do a little trivia session. Sometimes I don't like to even spring it on, my guests until they arrive. So today we're having trivia. We did find out backstage that Sven and Kerry both went to Purdue, so they have a little bit in common here today. Sven, do you have any questions about Fresh Thyme, since now you get to be the first official spokesperson for Fresh Thyme in Pittsburgh region?
I think it's awesome. So it sounds like there's a couple stores in the South Hills region. Are you guys looking to expand to other areas of the Pittsburgh region?
That's a great question. So we are opening up lots of stores, 10 each year, with a goal of having 100 by 2020. So you never know what could happen.
Excellent.
Well, we're so happy you picked Pittsburgh as your new location.
Yeah, we are too.
And then, do you have anything like what Sven does out where you are in Chicago?
Definitely. I have some good friends that are physical therapists. I've worked with a few. I'm a runner, so runners always need a physical therapist.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess, what's the most interesting injury you've ever worked with?
Well, that's a good question. The most interesting injury.
It's hard. I like it.
That is a hard question. I don't know if it's interesting, but definitely my passion lies with individuals who have had traumatic brain injuries.
Oh, wow.
And just taking them through the process of where they were almost comatose to the point where they are walking and talking again. And I've had the fortunate privilege of being able to help a few people through that.
That's amazing to see that progression.
It was incredible.
Cool.
Well, let's not waste any more time and get. This is like a healthy food, since you're both into helping people and you're both into health and wellness. I figured a little healthy food session. She might have you on a few.
I might be an underdog here.
But
I hope so.
I hope so. These are pretty hard, though. All right, so question number 1. What fruit is part of the rose family? I told you they weren't going to be easy.
This isn't multiple choice, is it?
This is not. There is one true or false. I'll make sure to ask. So if you could guess, and you can both.
I would say a raspberry.
Close.
I'll say strawberry.
It is actually a cherry.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'll ask the true false next. True or false? Strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries are actual berries.
True.
I'm going to say false.
False. I know. That's hard. They say berry in it, right? What looks like a vegetable is actually a fruit and considered a berry? And this is totally so hard because I had no idea on this one. I'll repeat it. What looks like a vegetable is actually a fruit and then considered a berry? You guys need a hint?
I would say tomato or avocado.
Those are the two I was going to say. Tomato or avocado. I'll go with tomato.
Nope, neither one. I'll give you a hint. You can make it Italian style with Parmesan.
Eggplant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I know. I didn't know. What is a bunch of bananas called?
Monkey food.
You both are crossing them. It's a hand.
Oh.
Which is, it looks like a hand, so that makes sense. All right. What has more sugar, a lemon or a strawberry?
Is it per half cup? Gotta compare. Okay, I would say it's probably going to be.
I would say they're probably the same
I'd say the
size.
lemon just because it's whatnot.
I'll say the lemon because it's not the obvious
It
answer.
is. It is the lemon.
But I bet the portion you eat is not the same.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That's interesting. What nut is part of the peach family? Since you have peaches, they might be nectarines. I haven't.
They're peaches.
Any guess?
Pecans.
Almonds.
Almonds is right. Pecans. That was just an interesting answer. I don't know why I made it. It's not the most, I guess, popular. Anyway. Well, thank you both for coming on.
Those were tough.
They were tough. It was off a kid's site I found today. So those kids are smarter than we are today.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different things out there that are so off the wall. Well, thank you both for coming on today. I appreciate it. Obviously, find out more about Sven and Kerry by following the links. We'll have it on our website as well as our social media. Thanks for watching this episode of Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and join us again when we shine the spotlight on 2 new guests.